What's up, Coach?
Hello.
First question, Vanessa.
Obviously, unfortunate news about Steven. Good that he had, successful surgery, but out for the year. How will you adjust with Steven unavailable for the rest of the season?
We've done the last, few games with him out, and nights when he's out for back-to-backs. Clint will get more of a run. And, part of the reason was the back-to-backs and injuries happen. Whether it's Alpy or Steven, you have a nice third-level center and not a lot of drop-off, and then more small ball where we're good. And once we get everybody healthy, and like I always say, off the minute restrictions, we'll be able to play more small lineups with Kevin, Dorian, Tari, Jabari, those guys at the 4 and 5.
Can you give us some more information about how he ended up having to have the surgery after it was first just described as a sprain?
Yeah, we knew it was a bad sprain immediately. It blew up softball size or more immediately, and so the next day, nothing was broken, but the next day, the swelling was there still, and it was termed a grade 3 severe sprain, and so from there was some ligament damage, and he got a few opinions, and kind of went back and forth as to if he could rehab and come back this year, and then may have to have surgery later on, or get it done now and be fully healthy for next year. And so went through the process and had 2 or 3 opinions and came to that conclusion.
Steven generated so many extra possessions with his offensive rebounding. Is the way to fill that void, I guess, by forcing more turnovers? Is that kind of a strategy or thought you guys have had?
I think we can do that naturally when we do play smaller. We've been at our best at times when we've done that this year, and got out and ran, defense, offense, and so that's the way to do it. But I think everybody else has to just step up in his absence. Can't really do it the way he does it, with commanding 2-3 guys with his strength and holding guys off. But everybody else can improve in that area and step to the plate. And Clint's a very good offensive rebounder as well.
Will you guys apply for a disabled player exception and try to add another big?
I'm sorry, say I can't.
Will you guys try to add another big?
There are discussions. People are calling nonstop. But if we don't, it depends on what's out there. But I think we are totally fine going with Clint and our small ball lineups if need be. But we'll see what shakes out. And like I said, people are calling more for our guys than us reaching out.
And then Jabari said this morning that the Rockets and Spurs are 2 teams that don't really like each other. Where do you see that show up most on the court?
Just the competitive nature of the games in general. I think 2 teams that were struggling a few years ago and have both taken nice steps. And down the line, you can see this being a future rivalry. And I think overall, it's just very competitive games since I've been here in the few years so far. No matter who's playing, what the record is, they have some quality players. We do as well, and guys that have been drafted around each other. And so it kind of builds into that rivalry. But I think the fact that both teams are on an upward swing, close by in proximity, and have a history, that all plays into it.
Coach, last year you talked about Fred, Dylan, and Steven being the veteran influencers that a young team needs. This year is the idea that, Katie, Dorian, and Clint now step into those roles since you don't have any of those 3, or are some of your young guys just ready to sort of take on that role themselves?
Yeah, I think our new guys have done that quite well. Even when Dorian hasn't been playing, he's been very vocal, and now he's on the court, and one of our best talkers, IQ-wise, knowing where to be in the right spot, so that definitely helps. But Kevin's doing it as well in a different role than he's had to play in other places, and I do think our young guys, keep calling them young guys, but and young in age, but somewhere in their 5th year, 4th year, and even a guy like Ime in his 3rd year now, you expect them to take jumps and learn and grow from experiences. And so all the above, honestly, but I think our veterans that we added have done a great job as well.
Coach, now that you're going small ball and with Tari being on a minute restriction, how does that affect him if you're going to start him, but if you're not going to start him, you're going to bring him off the bench, and to go with your small ball lineup?
Tari is technically off the restriction. He has been. That's why we put him back on the starting lineup last game, and so we can play him as we need. I think it's more so just Dorian now.
Playing the Spurs last week at home, this was fueled by a second half comeback, reached after scoring 21. Then defensively, y'all forced Wemby to shoot 5 for 21. So how does that performance, how can y'all build on that? And then playing against them again tonight, and then how can y'all also build on the last couple of wins against Memphis and Detroit?
Yeah, I think we did a really good job. He I think everybody switching on to him did a really good job. Started with Josh, and I'll be Tari tonight, but took away his space, didn't give him a ton of open looks, denied a lot of his catches, got him off his spots, and so that's a full team thing. But the individual defensive efforts, other than a few where we didn't switch properly or gave too much space on his jump shots, but to hold him for 5 for 21 regardless is a really good job overall. So we can build on that, and I think we know the formula. What we've done well against him for years is kind of it started with Dylan, and now we have these other wings that can kind of climb up, take his airspace away, and as well as fight him on the post. And so no, more of the same. Understanding, he's going to want to obviously come back and have a better performance as well as some of the other guys, but just try to duplicate that in general.
Almond Thompson, last 5 games, is top 3 in total assists. Seems like he's doing a much better job getting the team into their offensive sets. What's been the biggest difference for him as a facilitator recently compared to earlier in the season?
Yeah, I think his turnovers are down. He's made a lot of great passes last game specifically, but in general, his numbers have gone up. So taking care of the ball is one thing, but guys make shots, it helps out as well. But he had really nice backdoors to Reed a few games ago, Kevin last game, a few pocket passes to Alpy, and then some driving kicks where he's really drawing the crowd and not trying to shoot it every time, understanding he's collapsing the defense and kickouts are there. So feels like he's hitting the stride as far as that. Like I said, making shots helps those numbers, but regardless of make or miss, I think in general his recognition has improved.
Will Tari and Dorian be available for tomorrow's game against Atlanta?
No.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.